and welcome to Sidekick Comics Geek-Tastic Vodcast. I'm your host, Dave. This is
Isaac.
This week we're going to talk to you about several things in all of our usual segments, but our primary topic of conversation is going to be The Watchmen. This Wednesday, before Watchmen Minutemen #1 comes out, that will be our new book this week we're going to talk about. In our What We're Reading, we're going to discuss the Watchmen graphic novel. We will have our Geek Rock Song of the Week with Boo Boo. And of course we will have our Tip of the Week from the Chief. Alright, we're going to start this week by discussing the announcement by DC that one of their major characters was going to be openly gay. The word did leak out this week that that character will be Alan Scott, who will once again be the Green Lantern in the Earth 2 comic, which is, an alternate universe. The reception's been pretty good for this. Alan Scott and Green Lantern were both have been very hot topics on search engines and in Twitter. I think it's a very cool thing. I think it's a good approach. I am a Green Lantern fan. I think it is a prominent character. It's a good move. It does change a lot of the history of Alan Scott, but that's kind of what the New 52 and the Earth 2 is altering some of the past. Earth 2 is meant to be an alternate dimension where the past does not have to be what it is that we have known. So I think the choice of Alan Scott and the Green Lantern in Earth 2 was a very good choice. What do you think, Isaac?
Yeah, I love Green Lantern, and I'm glad that they brought back Alan Scott because he was really awesome in some of the older comics, and the whole Earth 2 thing, which I love, is really cool. And I like how they changed it up a little bit, and I really think this is really going to be awesome just for the whole DC thing and the whole New 52.
Yeah, and this has been coupled with Marvel talking about in the Astonishing X-Men that there's going to be a same-sex marriage. So hopefully, I like the progressive attitude of the comics. I like that they're taking some initiative in these things, to be accepting. So hopefully it'll stem some good stories, and open some eyes maybe in society as it goes. Okay, now we're going to do our segment on what's new this week. One of the big books coming out this week on Wednesday, June 6th is the first of the Before Watchmen series. This will be Minutemen #1. As I'm sure everybody knows, since the announcement of the Before Watchmen, there has been a lot of concern on people, a lot of controversy surrounding the Before Watchmen series. We're not going to get into all that discussion. We're not going to discuss the creator rights aspect of it, the non-involvement of Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons. We're purely going to talk about the books. I am a huge Watchmen fan. I'm a huge Alan Moore fan. But I am looking forward to the Before Watchmen. I think it's good for comics. I think it's good for the industry. But I think there's a lot of opportunity here to have good stories and tell good, some backstory on some of these characters. I'm very much looking forward to it. I cannot wait to read it. What do you think, Isaac?
Yeah, I love The Watchmen. It's going to be really cool because I know a little about The Watchmen. I read Watchmen, but it's going to be cool to see their backstory. That's what I see. It's called Before Watchmen. It's going to have a couple characters that I really don't know a lot about. I'm really interested in seeing Rorschach's past and Dr. Manhattan's past, and of course Minuteman. He just looks awesome, and the art looks good, and hope the writing's going to be good.
Yeah, the Minutemen, I'm especially intrigued by the Minutemen because they didn't go into this group known as the Minutemen much in the Watchmen, where you talk about Hooded Justice and the original Silk Spectre and the original Night Owl. There were some pieces of that in the writing, but they didn't go into it a lot. And so it'll be interesting to see how these characters develop and how they add to the Watchmen universe. Alright, now we're going to talk about what we're reading. To go along with the Before Watchmen debut this week, we're going to discuss the Watchmen trade paperback, or graphic novel. The Watchmen is something I read long ago, recently reread with the announcement of the Before Watchmen. It is probably my favorite trade paperback body of work in comics ever. I think, I mean, in the accolades it's gotten, it deserves, being in Time's greatest 100 novels of our time. It is really a good representation, I think, of the medium. I think Alan Moore is a literary genius. Dave Gibbons' art was perfect for the book. I loved it. And I feel that you cannot call yourself a comic book fan if you have not read The Watchmen.
Yeah, Watchmen, it is absolutely awesome. It's one of my favorites. I just think that it's very creative. I mean, this is something not like any other. It's like you have Batman, you have Superman, you have all these other, guys that are just, general knowledge, but then you have the Watchmen, which, everyone should know about. They're just creative. They're not like all the superheroes, They have backstories. They have real life problems. They live in a world of crisis, and it's really awesome how they were portrayed in this book, and definitely a must read.
One of the great things about it is like Isaac mentioned, it may not be the first. There were some Marvel runs that keyed on this aspect a little too, but it does show these heroes in a very human light, showing that some of them got to where they are through some very messed up pasts, and that they still have struggles and they still have this human side, and in even some cases it showed that the reluctance to be those heroes. And I think that's maybe what attracts me most to it is the whole human nature that they gave these characters, and as you read it, and they didn't really have superpowers. They had this desire to do the right thing, but each character had different paths to doing the right thing. So and then for the old school superpower fans, of course, they had Dr. Manhattan thrown in there with his lab accident that gave him powers. So again, if you've not read Watchmen, you must read it. I would advise you to get it now and read it often, especially if you're going to dive into the Before Watchmen series.
Isaac here with your Yu-Gi-Oh! Tip of the week. Alright, so my Yu-Gi-Oh! Tip of the week is to understand your cards and understand if you can do chains or not. Chains are when you can do multiple actions by using magic cards, trap cards, or just the effect of multiple cards. So in this example, I used the card Allure of Darkness. Allure of Darkness allows me to draw 2 cards. In this situation, it would be Fissure and Trap Jammer. So I bring these 2 cards in my hand, but then I would have to banish 1 card. Or 1 dark monster. So I'd banish the monster Brawn, Mad King of the Dark World. Banish means he is removed from play. So as soon as I remove him from play, I can now go on to my next part of the chain. I would use the trap card, Escape from the Dark Dimension, which allows me to special summon 1 banished card from my banish pile to my side of the field. Then I could attack with him, and if I induce battle damage, I can use this effect to discard 1 card. So I could discard Ceruli, which will special summon from my graveyard to your side of the field, and make me discard 1 card. When I discard 1 card, I would discard Rainbow, which his effect says if he was discarded by an opponent's monster's effect, then he would wipe out either your spell and trap card zone or your monster zone. So now, after I've done that, I have officially wiped out your whole side of the field. Now another thing I could also do is I could use Dark Deal, and in case you tried to use a magic or spell card, what would happen is it would become from that effect to me discarding 1 card. So what I would do is I would discard Rainbow, and it would be the same effect. So when you do chains, all you have to do is know your card's effects and what they can or cannot do.
Okay, this is Boo Boo with the Geek Rock Song of the Week. This week, our rock song is Miri by 5 Year Mission. This song is available on their first ever album, Year One, and you can visit them at 5yearmission.net to check out that song.
Blah, blah, blah.
in the head, bonk, 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 bonk in the head, blah, 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 bonk, 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 bonk in the head, bonk, 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 bonk in the head, bonk, 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 bonk in the head, blah, blah, blah. Mary will become a woman soon. Mary will contract the disease. Mary is 300 years older than you and me. Bonk, 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 bonk in the head, bonk, 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 bonk in the head, bonk, 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 bonk in the head, blah, blah, blah. Mary is reaching maturity. She is using Mr. Lovey-Dovey or Captain James T. Kirk if you're nasty. I don't wanna be a gruff, I don't wanna be a gruff, I don't wanna be dead this time next week. I don't wanna be a gruff, I don't wanna be an only. Oh, listen to me. Bonk, 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 bonk in the head, bonk, 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 bonk in the head, bonk, 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 bonk in the head, blah, blah, blah. Mary will become a woman soon. Mary will contract the disease. Mary is 300 years older than you and 298 years older than me. I don't wanna be a gruff, I don't wanna be a gruff, I don't wanna be dead this time next week. I don't wanna be a gruff, I don't wanna be an only. Oh, listen to me. Bonk, 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 bonk in the head, bonk, 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 bonk in the head, bonk, 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 bonk in the head, blah, blah, blah.
Hi there, this is the Chief. The interesting fact of the week is that the largest comic book collection on Earth is owned by the Library of Congress, owning more than 100,000 comic books and gaining 200 more comic books a month. So, if you want to expand your collection, come to Sidekick Comics. Thank you.
This is Captain Xander. We'll see you next week.